Minnick of the Courier-Post and talk a little bit more high school baseball. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Sully. How are you today?
Hey, pretty good, man. Thanks for joining us as always. I guess start off with Jason Groome. We talked a little bit about him with Mike McGarry a few minutes ago, and Mike's out there at the Barnegat Pinelands game, Ocean County tournament. How do you put into words, what this has done for South Jersey baseball? I mean, what a crazy past 6 weeks or so for this young man.
Yeah, I think what it does is it brought, not only did it bring a lot of, I think it brought a lot of undue attention onto the South Jersey scene and just the way the whole thing went down with Jason and the way he, the ineligibility went down. And, I think that's what people are going to remember most right now. But I think given the next month and a half, I think, that'll be put on the back burner, and people are going to, get an opportunity to see him pitch and, really realize, how good this kid is. I've yet to see him. I've only seen a little bit on tape. Planning on seeing him play. Hopefully it'll pan out when they're supposed to play Gloucester Catholic at Campbell's Field in a couple weeks. And, it can't be anything but a positive experience from this point on.
Yeah, he's really handled it well. I know his advisor kind of took a shot there at the SJSR, but that's tough situation for a 17-year-old kid to be put in, and obviously there's a lot of expectation on his shoulders. But he seems to be handling it pretty well, and like McGarry said, he's got a great family around him. So hopefully this is just a little blip in the radar, and he can get back to baseball where I'm sure he feels most comfortable. Yeah,
I mean, obviously that's the thing, and I didn't hear what Mike had to say, but, in my opinion, obviously the rule was there, and it's pretty cut and dry. And I think that just there were some people that probably dropped the ball as far as making sure that this was taken care of. And in all honesty, it could have been taken care of back in the fall, where he could have had a hearing with the state and this could have all been avoided. But obviously that didn't happen. And then, to have especially have his advisor come out and rip the state, I think really wasn't a great move on their behalf. Because at that point the rule is the rule. But like we said, he didn't pitch a couple of games. It's not as if his arm fell off. It's not as if the fastball is not going to hit 95, 96 and the curve's going to bite. So, just a few less high school games to watch, which just gives him an opportunity to be a little bit more fresh come the tournament. And I think if you look at it in the eyes of the tournament now, Barnegat's not going to come into this tournament as a highest seed as it could have had he been on the mound, because given the way he was pitching, you got to believe he's going to win every game he's on the mound.
Sure.
For the most part, you kind of have to believe that. And, if he they take away 2 wins, take away, say, for the sake of argument, 2 more wins that he missed that he didn't pitch, there's 4 W's that drops them from potentially, for the sake of argument, 13-2 to, 9-6. So that's a big swing when it comes time for the seedings and the tournament. And, you don't want to have to be a team that's going to have to face Barnegat in the second round, and Jason Groome's on the mound, and you're the top seed. So, I can see where other teams and schools can look at it from that way too. But like I said, that's all under the water, under the bridge now, and he's back on the mound. And if you want to be the best, you're going to have to beat the best, as they say. And if Jason Groome's the best, you're going to have to beat him. So. That's just the way that just the way, as they say, that's baseball.
Like you said with the seedings, man, that's going to be a tough 8 or 9 seed if they end up in that range.
That's exactly it, and that's exactly it. And I've heard from more than just a few coaches about that. They're not. You knew Barnegat was going to be a team to beat when the tournament started back. Before in March, but now it takes on a whole different complexion. So. We'll have to wait and see how it pans out.
I think one of the real cool things about this story is, everybody talks about the guys who get to play with him on his team at Barnegat, but also the guys that get to play against him. I mean, that's such a neat thing for a high school kid. Normally there's 20, 25 people in the stands, a couple of parents, and here you are, you take a kid from Pinelands or whatever, and all of a sudden you're playing it, in front of 200-300 people. That's got to be kind of a neat experience for some of these guys that get to play against him.
Yeah, you hear some stories, back when Mike Trout was playing, and you hear about the kids who pitched against Mike Trout, and it's kind of like, remember when I struck Mike Trout out, or
Right.
when I got Mike Trout to ground out, that kind of deal. So, these kids will they may be a little nervous now, and they may take 3 pitches and go back to the dugout, but down the line when Jason Groome signs that contract, and one day he's pitching in the bigs, they'll say, I had my chance against Jason Groome.
Kevin, tell us a little bit about how South Jersey baseball is shaking out, and you're coming into the point in May where we're kind of seeing who's who a little bit, and this is the time you want to be playing well. You only have a couple of weeks to really make your mark. Like Mike was saying, the Diamond Classic cut off next weekend, and then you're almost right into state playoffs about a week or two later.
Yeah, the Diamond cutoff, like you said, the Diamond cutoff will be next Saturday. The Diamond will start Saturday after that, and then 2 weeks from today, I guess, or so, Diamond will be over, and the 2-3 weeks and the tournament starts. So it kind of all just kind of rolls right into the other, and I think this year with baseball, we're really seeing that there may not be a clear-cut number one team. Right now I think Gloucester Catholic is probably a little bit better than most, but Gloucester Catholic has a couple losses now. They lost to Steinert yesterday. Obviously a team that's kind of outside the South Jersey area up in Mercer County, but you look at these other teams and they just beat up on each other on a daily basis, and at the end of the week you're kind of trying to figure out where they kind of fit in the mix, and it's become a difficult thing to kind of figure out. You have teams that are beating on each other, then they win one day, they lose the next, they win 2 the next, and I just think that there's a lot of very good teams this year, and when you have a lot of very good teams, they're going to battle and they're going to lose here and there, and it's going to be it's really not going to get settled until the tournament.
Yeah, I think one of the real challenges for the high school baseball coaches this time of year is really trying to figure out that pitching rotation. If you're a team like St. Augustine Prep and you're going to be most likely in the Diamond Classic, state playoffs, they have a tough game this weekend down at the Coaches versus Cancer tournament, and you're trying to find innings out of all these guys, and it can be quite a challenge. And you see that sometimes in the Diamond Classic where you might see a finals appearance between 2 teams that you didn't expect because they're the last team standing with enough pitching to get that far.
Yeah, and when it comes to, in all honesty, when it comes to the Diamond, pitching is what separates a lot of these teams. You have to win 3 games on the last weekend, 2 on a Saturday and 1 on a Saturday and 2 on a Sunday. For public schools, the state tournament starting the next day, that's where the non-publics get a little bit of a break because they don't start the next day. So they can pretty much have some of their better arms ready in the Diamond, if they choose to. But it comes down to preference. It comes down to a lot of schools. When they get in the Diamond, sure they want to win the Diamond, but they've been playing all season for the state tournament. They want to be a state champion, and I don't think a coach is going to push the issue and throw his ace, and mess up his pitching rotation for when the tournament starts. So.
Well, yeah, you saw that with Mainland last year. They got to the semis, I believe, against Eastern, and Coach Kern was kind of like, I'd love to win the Diamond, but I want to really set my pitching up for the South Jersey tournament, and they end up going on to defend that South Jersey title. So I guess like you said, it's kind of a preference of what you want to do, and obviously these teams all want to win sectional titles. So you can see how it's a little bit of a difficult challenge for some of the coaches.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. It comes down to pitching, and there are teams in South Jersey that have 2 and 3 pitchers this year, and there are teams that are that don't. And like we said, pitching is the difference. It's always going to be the difference, especially in the Diamond Classic. If you can throw your top guys. So like I said, we'll see how it shuffles out. It always seems to find a way to play itself out. And then we take the tournament. So it's going to be an interesting next couple of weeks.
I'll tell you, a team to watch in that Diamond, if they can get in, is Ocean City. I mean, they've got some of the best pitching depth in South Jersey. They have 3 legit starters, and Coach Craig Menzinger said, he went as many as 7 deep when they went down to Florida in terms of the pitching rotation. So that could be a real team to watch out for when you need that kind of pitching depth in a week or 2 span.
Yeah, the automatic berths, in the Cal right now, or that division's tough. It's tough and it's very tight right now. But I'm on part of the committee that will go about and selecting the teams and selecting those at-large teams. And I'm going to tell you right now, if Ocean City does not find a way to mess up in the next week, I think you can pretty much count Ocean City's going to be in this tournament.
Kevin, real quick before we let you go, who's a team we should be looking out for in the next couple weeks that maybe's kind of flown under the radar a little bit, but is starting to get hot a little bit?
Geez, you throw me these curveballs all the time. I think there's a team in Group 2, to be honest with you, and they've been playing well all season. And I still West Deptford is only lost one game, and I think West Deptford is a team in Group 2 that could be very good and make an impact come the tournament time. And then you look at the kind of the same type of teams year in and year out, and you look in the Olympic American right now, and they're all beating up on each other. But you look at Cherokee, you look at Eastern, you look at Lenape, you look at Cherry Hill West. These are all teams. These are very, very good teams, and I won't say they're flying under the radar, but they've been beating each other up so much. You don't really know on a day-to-day basis what might be happening. And Lenape knocks off Camden Catholic last night. Camden Catholic came into the game, I believe, 12 or 13-1. So, I think that I don't know that there really is a team that's floating under the radar right now that we really are kind of thinking about too much. I think right now the teams that have a chance to win a title, or the teams that have been competitive game in and game out so far, are the teams that we're still going to have to watch.
Good stuff, Kevin. Appreciate it as always. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks, man. We'll catch up to you soon.
All right. Thanks again.
All right. That was Kevin Minnick of the Courier-Post. Does a great job covering high school baseball